a dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no, no.
Excuse me, Dr. King. He's my hero and all, but I tell you, I've heard all the stories about him out there in them streets being quite mannish. I have. All right, let's sit down and do some nails, shall we? And chit-chat a little bit. As you all can see, I'm set up to do my nails. I'm gonna make all this noise I need to. Haven't even measured them out yet. I tell you what, the emery boards that come in the kit, those are good. I wonder what this mirrored thing is for. Maybe that's just how they do their paper. I have not measured these out or anything, so let me do that first. And I tell you what, these usually are not my style. I kind of wanted to go for a nude look, but I guess I can do a gold accent. I don't know, we'll see how this all turns out. But like I said, let me measure this first and then we can chat a little bit about what we don't know. We just gonna come up with something. These probably have sizes on the inside, but since I don't have on my readers, yeah, I think I don't really care for that. We're just gonna see. We're gonna make the full set, Kymberly, before you start complaining and all that jazz. Do the full set first and see what it's looking like. I don't even know what finger the golds are for. Anyway, let me get my readers, see what sizes I've got, and let's get ready to do this for real. I got some readers just to see if I could see the sizes, you know, to make sure that I'm matching right, but if there's a number inside there, I still can't see it. I am really on the fence, and yes, I'm using a toenail clipper for my fingernails. I always like to cut them off before I put on a set. But anyway, I'm on the fence about this gold. I don't know that it's really my aesthetic anymore, I should say. Because once upon a time, baby, it was all about the gold. They had actual, real gold fingernails. I have no idea where my gold fingernails are. My door knockers. I had gold nugget ring, baby, gold nugget necklace. I had it all. What? Thought I was doing big things with that little piece of nugget on. I don't know where NT of that little jewelry is. Oh my goodness. We've come a ways. We have definitely, in terms of our style or whatever, we have come away. I'll tell you what too. I shared with you all that I used to date felons and all of that, and some people genuinely seem surprised, both in my real life friends as well as you all, my internet friends, seem surprised. I broke this nail. I hope that doesn't cause me trouble because it's got a little bit of a dip going up. I sure enough broke that at work, pushing in one of the kids' chairs. But anyway, yeah, things have definitely changed for me. Let's just say that. I kind of want to go over my cuticles first. Where's that little pusher they always put in the kit? Don't tell me they didn't put a wood stick in here. I'm putting up the glue and everything. There we go. I knew it was in there. I got all kind of dye and junk under my nails. I promise my nails are not that dirty. It's coloring and stuff that I've been touching and fooling with all throughout this day. But yeah, a lot of my style, taste, and things like that have changed. When I grew up, I definitely grew up in the hood, but not by some people's standards. Like my parents were, my mother especially, very hardworking. My father and mother got a divorce when I was young. I'm well, the way that they work, let me tell you, it's crazy. People talk about circling the block. My parents are a very good reason as to why I do not really believe in circling the block. They were high school sweethearts and all that jazz, had a child together, broke apart, as often is the case, with high school sweethearts. They weren't grown, they didn't know what they wanted yet. And so they broke apart, got married, had other marriages, the whole nine, had other kids of the whole nine, and then got back together and had me. And maybe even as a young child, I remember wishing one of my parents, it didn't matter which, but one of my parents would just move out. They just fought a lot. It was a love that was just not meant to be. I'm going to put it nicely. It just was not meant to be. So, of course, it faded out, didn't last. But all that to say that, that's kind of how that was for my parents. Once they got divorced, my mother very much raised us on her own. Now, my father wasn't an absentee father. I knew exactly who he was. A lot of weekends, I cannot see through these readers and look at a distance, but a lot of weekends, my cousins and I would go to our paternal grandmother's house and we would hang out. He'd be there as well. Like it was a thing. So he wasn't an absent father, but I have to credit my mother for putting in most of the work, for absolutely knowing that there was food in my belly every single night. That's not saying my father didn't pay child support and didn't do his bit, but there were nights where he went to bed, I'm sure, with a full stomach, but he hadn't called and said, "Hey, what did you eat today?" You know what I mean? So not an absentee father, but just not as present as my mother. So I like to give my mother the credit for that, while also crediting my father for what he did and for making sure that he was a presence in my life. But that being said, we didn't grow up with the most in life. I do wish as a whole my community could, fight more to keep the family together. And I know I'm saying that as a divorced woman, but doesn't mean I don't still wish for better. And it doesn't mean I don't understand when it can't be better. Remember, I was a kid saying I want one of them to move out. I'm using this little, what do you call this? Are these hangnails on the side that, you kind of scrape off? Oh, that thing is super sharp. My goodness. The one I just got from Marshall's, just to kind of clean up my nails and cuticles a bit. But yeah, I didn't grow up with the most. And what's funny about that is as I was getting older, I used to wish for more, want for more, and work for more. Like I put in that work to get more. Not always. Now, when I was young, I did a whole lot of the stuff young people do, hence dating the felons and all of that. You got to remember, given the age that I am, I grew up at the height, like those were my teenage years, at the height of the crack epidemic. And it was in my community, much like it was in other people's communities. So, a lot of the guys I knew hustled. And at that time, it just seemed like we girls were encouraged to either date a baller or date a baller. Like nobody was really saying, go off to college, girl. You can do it on your own. You can this, that, and another. So not most of my friends, in fact, let's keep it a buck. None of the friends I grew up with in my formative years went to college. It was just me. And so with that came some judgment. Oh, I guess she thinks she better now. I guess she thinks she... And it wasn't that I ever thought I'm better, and I still don't think I'm better, but I knew I was better than that circumstance. I knew I was better than the stuff that I was doing. So, my parents, we grew up in the hood, but my mother worked hard. She was a postal worker for over 30 years. My father worked hard. He had various jobs, but he was a teacher for, that was his predominant career. At one point, when I was little, he worked at the plant, was it General Motors? Ford, one of the car plants. And then around into my formative years, he got into education as well. So both of my parents were hard workers. They instilled the value of hard work in me. So it isn't for lack of knowing better. I knew better. I did. But sometimes those fast bucks, they get tempting and you just want to do what your friends are doing. You want to be, did I miss a little piece? Felt a little snag there. You want to do what your friends are doing and hang where they hang and all that stuff. Oh, that's my nail. I'll get to my nails in a minute. So that's kind of how that came about. But with my ambition later in life to go to college and do other things, so my thing was I just didn't really want to work with my hands. And I always knew that I just might need a plan B. I just might need something else to fall back on. And so for me, college was really my plan B. I mean, you could have told me I wasn't going to live the life of luxury. Get me a baller. We're going to ball out till we fall out and all that stuff. And I mean, I ended up honestly dating both. I dated felons and I dated, football players. That happened. But I've talked a little bit about that before. And let me tell you something. Y'all, when I talk about my life and stuff that I do, I promise I'm not trying to act like it's a flex or something. I was talking in my last video, or one of my last week. I was talking last week in a video, and I mentioned that, with my current car, it doesn't tell me the stuff that's wrong. And in my old car, it used to, and I happened to mention what that old car was, just for context. And someone left a nasty comment about that too, about how, tell me you bragging without saying you bragging. Tell me, like, what? No, I'm telling you my life. Not only that, yeah. Oh no, not me messing up my sizes. But this must be, yeah, that's the middle. Not only that, but they also ended up telling me, now I gotta put the glasses back on. I look at y'all, I can't wear the glasses, but put these glasses on and do your nails, girl. Talk while you do your nails. But anyway, they ended up telling me a story about a lady who was on some dating app. I don't know if it was Hinge, whatever, but she's on the dating app. I guess the dating app is free, but she ended up paying like $10,000 for a dating coach. Y'all have probably seen him on YouTube or TikTok. His name is Anwar. I think I'm saying it right. I don't know his last name, but I've seen his videos pop up, and I've even watched a video or two. But he's a relationship expert for Black and brown women is his tagline, I think. So anyway, this person left a comment and told me about that since I'm flexing on my cars or something, and I want a man who communicates and all that stuff. Maybe I should just go through this site and do what she did, which was spend 10 grand. Well, here's what's funny about that also to me. Funny and not funny. To me, 10 grand, oh, that's a whole lot of money. It really is. But y'all gotta understand, some people are just living a different lifestyle and a different life and means. So, yeah, my car now is a Lexus, bought it used. My last car, the Beamer that I was talking about, bought it used. When I tell y'all stuff, I'm not telling you as a flex or, I think most people know that. So I'm probably just preaching to the choir. Wait a minute, let me concentrate because I'm actually right-handed. And when I cut with my left on my cuticles, baby, I like to be real careful. Okay, so I brought y'all in and, oh, okay, good. The towel is covering up. I was like, I sure hope I ain't showing y'all my flower garden. But anyway, I brought y'all in and y'all can see more. So, I think I left off at talking about how I'm just buffing them now and getting ready to give a little alcohol rub and put the actual nail on. They're pretty smooth as it is. But I was just telling y'all how it felt like as I started going to school, people started acting like you changing, you doing whatever. And as if I thought I was better, and I didn't. I really never, and to this day, I still don't think I'm better than anyone. I still don't try to do all that flexing and stuff that I'm accused of. Because I tell you what, just like I'm sitting right here doing my nails, there are some of you all out there who get your nails done on the regular. You're probably thinking, girl, just go on and get you a little manicure, pedicure, do all of that. Truth of the matter is, I've actually never had one. Don't know that I want to get one just because I've heard so many horror stories. So I'm okay and I'm content with this. But I say to each his or her own. As long as you're not hurting anybody, be glad, be grateful for whatever you have. You know, people talk about glowing up, but when somebody actually does or does better in any capacity, and to me, glowing up is not just about how you look on the outside. It just isn't. Glowing up to me is doing so in every facet. It's about, increasing your circumstances. It's about improving how you speak. I did that. And I'm not ashamed, baby. I'll code switch in a nanosecond. I've already said that. It's my hope at some point to get sponsorships. Like right now, I'm offered several collabs, most of which I never even take. But I'm offered collabs. And in my mind, and I might have it wrong or backwards, but a collaboration is more so when a brand reaches out to you and they say, hey, we'll give you this product. We want you to mention it in a video with your vlog, or we want it exclusive. Just only talk about us, don't talk about anything else. But that's a collab. And I've done that, and there's been no exchange of money. But baby, I want someday to come up and get a sponsorship. Y'all think I'm getting a sponsorship talking any old kind of way? No. I will code switch in a nanosecond on those sponsorships. That's just what that is. That's called, to me, a part of growing up, glowing up, whatever you wish to call it. That is what I intend to do. And I'm not going to feel no ways about it. So back to that lady who spent her $10,000. To me, that's an inordinate amount of money. So the person sent it to me trying to be funny, but I ended up watching it. I was entertained. So I guess the key is on you. But would I spend said amount? No. But that could be a drop in a bucket for her. That could be a well-placed investment, because if I remember correctly, she's engaged or getting married, or as if engaged and getting married don't mean the same thing. But she's either engaged or already married. I've forgotten. I didn't go too far down the rabbit hole of watching that. I just saw enough. Y'all might have seen it too, where the lady spent 10 grand on the so-called free website, and people were talking about how dumb she is and all of that. I just think money is relative. Depending on how her money looks and how her stacks are, like I said, that could be a drop in a bucket. And she's blessed to spend it. This glue came with it, but I've used this glue from another kit, and it's really, really good. So I guess I'm just gonna try this again anyway. Maybe put these glasses back on. But I have gone through I put them back on, then take them off, start talking. But I have gone through my phases where I have felt a way about where I came from and where I am now, about coming through on the other side of some circle. You know what? I'm talking around it. Let me just keep it a buck whilst I do my nails. But basically, when I tell you I've dated felons and things like that, honey, I've been in places I ain't had no business really being in. I've survived circumstances that some of my friends didn't survive. I've got friends who have gone to jail for being in the same place doing some got a little on my cuticle. I don't really like that. I don't like it all the way up there that high. But I've got friends who have gone to jail and faced, very unpleasant circumstances for doing the same thing that I was doing, being in the same place that I was in. And so, sometimes when that happens, you may have a bit of what's known as survivor's remorse. And I've had that. Ooh, I got just a little too much glue right in my mouth. Talking to y'all, make sure it's still straight. But I've had that survivor's remorse. And I'm at a point now, like I would say the survivor's remorse, more than me, it's not so much a thing of, oh Lord, why me? Why'd you spare me? I have wondered that. But not as heavily into that. It's more so a thing of, wow, there but by the grace of God go I. Maybe I need to kind of get things together. Maybe I need to do more, be more in my community. Like that's a lot of where my feeling of survivor remorse has come from. And it's a lot of what helped me to choose the career that I chose. Like, man, I'm telling you, there have been times where my friends First, well, it's been a couple of circumstances. One circumstance, I realized, oh, these are not my friends. We were riding around, we wanted something to drink, but we really didn't have money. And one of my friends was like, oh, yeah, where there's a will, there's a way, I got something. Actually hopped out of the car in which we were all sitting and waiting and went and robbed the doggone liquor store. Gets back in the car, doesn't say a word, having just committed this good old-fashioned crime. That was the last time I hung out with them too. Because do you honestly believe any cop would have believed me telling them that I wasn't a part of that? I wasn't in on that? No, we'd have all done that time. My thing is this. I took risks. I took calculated risks. That's not why I avoided jail. It really isn't. I took calculated risks and I was lucky. And I was very fortunate. And I was very blessed. However you want to phrase it. So the reason I finished fooling with them is because, baby, you don't determine what risk I take. I determine the risk that I'll take. And so, yeah, that had me more than just a little bit upset. So I stopped hanging out with them. But, I mean, there have been times where I would have gone to different parties and things like that. Excuse me for a second. There are times I would have gone to various parties and things where I've had, where there were shootings. I've had friends who actually got shot and injured. They were in a car that got shot up. I don't know where I would have been sitting in that car. I could have been hit. So in that sense, I've had some survivor's remorse. I've had friends who went from dating drug dealers and things like that to being some of their best customers. Now, I will say, one thing about drugs is I've always been scared. I've been a little disgusted too. I shared that before. All that, the way they lick the joint and then pass it, no, baby, pass that on right by me. So, yeah, for that reason, I didn't smoke. But, I mean, I have been in all kinds of circumstances, and I didn't have to come out on this side. Now, granted, that was when I was a teenager. And it's so ironic because in the same sense that I gave my daughter life, she actually saved mine. Because I'd have still been doing a whole bunch of that old dumb stuff for longer than I did had I not become a mother. But becoming a mother is a huge part of what changed me and straightened me out. And she's a huge part of why I wanted to do better. She's a huge part of why I continued my education. Don't nobody really want to talk to me until I start talking to y'all. They jealous. They jealous I'm talking to my internet friends. But yeah, I don't feel ashamed. I don't feel a way for wanting to do better. I feel a way about these nails though. I don't like them. I really don't. If I have an insecurity, because I don't really like to claim insecurities, but if I have one, it's definitely my hands and my uneven knuckles. So putting nails on does make them look better, but I just don't like my hands. I wonder if a dermatologist can do something about that for me. Y'all know about that? I have tried using kojic acid soap on my hands and I have not seen a difference. Other than, oh my gosh, you want to talk about some dry nails, drier than this alcohol. Way drier than that, dry, brittle. Oh, it just ruined my nails for the time that I was doing that. But yeah, I suffer some survivor's remorse for some time, for many years. But now I just have an attitude of gratitude. I'm just thankful that I did come out of those circumstances the way that I did. I'm thankful that I'm okay. And I'm not finna feel bad about switching from a Beamer to a Lexus or back again. I wouldn't feel bad if I was driving a Ford Tempo. I'm sure they don't make that anymore. But how dare, anyone trying to make someone feel a way for having something or, and not to mention they really read into it with that flex. But if you come across someone who's trying to make you feel a certain way because you're bettering yourself, like it seems so acceptable for people to take on or for people to understand that someone wants to glow up in terms of their looks. That's perfectly fine. BBLs, breast job, nails, pedicures, wigs, whatever it is, that seems to be more acceptable than someone just trying to do better in life, talk better in life, get more education. Really? I don't know about that. That's odd. I feel like if you feeling like that's a flex or you feel like someone's trying to brag because they're talking about whatever things that they have in life, you need to reevaluate yourself. And you certainly need to look around. If you feel like you have to make yourself small and not talk about that stuff, or make yourself small and not have those things, baby, that just means the room you're in, the people you're with, they ain't big enough. It doesn't mean you need to shrink yourself down at all. Oof. That was bothersome. I forgot what I was even talking about. I think I was talking about growing up and different things like that, and ended up spiraling into that. I tell you what, in case you can't tell, when I sit down, here's okay. I was about to say, when I sit down, I don't really plot out what I'm going to talk about, and that part is true. But I will say that there are times when I hear bits and pieces of conversation, or I have conversations in life with some of my friends, and I'm like, you know what? Next time I'm on, I'm going to try to talk about that. Menopause says snatch it right up out of me. I don't even remember by the time I sit down and turn on the camera. A lot of times I remember again once I turn the camera off, but what good does that do? So, yeah, that's crazy. At some point I said, oh, I'm going to talk about, life decisions, what made me decide against staying in my marriage and things like that. I've talked about it to some degree, less detail, but maybe at some point I'll provide more detail. I feel like we all have a story to tell, and we all have lessons that we've learned. And I sincerely hope that, as well as entertaining, I do want to make people smile, but I really hope that people are taking in the lessons as well as the conversations. Speaking of conversation, let me finish up these little bit of nails. See what in the world is going on here, because I'm getting more text than a few. I think I do like the gold. I say all that after I'm talking about glowing up. It's a little hoodie, but guess what? So am I. I'm still a little hoodie. Uh-oh, my legs are falling asleep. Ooh, Lordy, let me straighten them out. There we go. Too much glue. I always tell the kids I'm a rapper. I got a song, a dot of glue. Any more than that is too much glue. Some of them, they so cute. Some of them actually believe it. Bless their little hearts. Was that straight? Yeah. Whoa, had to pop that one off. It was almost going on crooked. I turned it some. I cannot stand it when I put the nails on and then I look back and my nails are crooked or something. My middle finger always is, but that's just the way my middle finger grows. I can't blame that on the nails. That's just genetics. Speaking of genetics, I am the only woman, I should say, in my family who has my dad's hands. My mother has beautiful long nail beds. My sister has them as well. My daughter has, just skipped right over me. Skipped right on over me, and yet here I am putting on nails in front of y'all. Like I said, my biggest insecurity is my nails, but it's not even enough to hold me back. I'll tell you, that's a beautiful thing too. In my 20s, I probably wouldn't have been on here doing no nails. It might have helped me. I don't know. I say that, but I don't even remember that. I've never liked my hands, but I don't remember them ever honestly holding me back from doing whatever I want to do, including talking with them. Including that. The last thing I'm going to do is put some Nivea. Nivea comes in this little tub thing that I like. I usually carry that around my purse. Put a little Nivea cream around my nails and some lotion, and we are going to call it. Oh no, my very last nail, I ended up putting a little glue on the top. Oh, but you can't tell, it's still shiny. So this is what we're looking like now.
These are dreams.